that this has a 10x optical zoom lens, and it features a 3-inch touchscreen. So all of your settings, when you get into menus, it's all on the touchscreen instead of having physical buttons, which actually allows you to have a lot more settings than on other consumer camcorders. Now, one thing to point out is that is a resistive touchscreen, not a capacitive touch. So it actually comes with a teeny tiny stylus,
right?
To help you.
That's pretty silly.
Yeah, and you have to dig in your fingernail.
Do we use that when we use
it's usable with just your fingernail, and but you can see that if I just try to slide just using my normal fingertip, it's not gonna.
You really want to use a stylus.
You really want to use your fingernail.
You know, these are ideal for us because we're not changing settings. We go to manual and we just leave it.
Right. And so some of the features that this has outside of just its base settings are HDMI out.
Right.
It has face detection, so it'll automatically adjust its. There you go. It's focus to whatever face.
You see it? It saw my face and it focused on there.
Right.
Yeah.
See, there you go. It shows a little preview of that. It has focus assist, so if you want to manually focus, it'll do a digital zoom in so you can see those lines.
We use that all the time. That's actually a very nice feature.
Absolutely.
Because it's zoomed in, it's a lot easier to focus.
Now, because it's on autofocus, it's not going to do it for you now.
So we have to turn off the autofocus.
Right.
I'll turn it to manual.
Perfect.
And then you'll be able to see this. So I'm going to now zoom in.
And I believe
maybe I'm doing something wrong.
No worries. Focus. Change that to manual focus.
You have to do it in the...
get out of that setting.
So
there
you
go.
See, you have a lot of control, but you got a lot of menus to get there. And now when I...
and then we have to dig in. So one thing is that I've been...
You see the problem, ladies and gentlemen.
A
lot of features.
And because we're actually in the middle of recording, I can't get into my...
that's fine.
But anyway, in a lot of settings, and after using this camera for I mean, we've been in the studio now for around a year. No, around 9 months. So I've used this camera for around 9 months.
Yeah, you have a lot of experience with it.
And so settings are normally where you'd expect them to be. There are a few that are pretty weird, like turning on the focus assist is into, you have to hit menu, and then you have to hit menu a second time to dig into a different menu.
We were having some issues with that.
Right, so there's a little bit of funkiness with that. Right. Image stabilization is pretty good. Right now you're on manual focus, so and you can actually just hit that, change it back. It has a little quick button to whatever you had last time.
Right.
Now then, one thing that I didn't quite love, but is a feature, is it has these really, really cheeky video overlays. And so here, let me...
Why would you use that stuff? I know they build these in the camcorders.
See, it's called decoration.
Yeah, I don't
So I can hit that, and it's not named really well. And if we go... So Burke is actually stars, hooray! And this is baked into the video. So there's once you do it live,
and
you can't get rid of it.
To me moving? No, it's just...
No, he's actually touching. Burke is behind the camera, touching on the touchscreen. Right.
Aww.
So it's really cheeky.
You don't want this.
Oh,
There's no reason for this.
We love these really great...
You've never seen us use this.
Right.
We didn't even know we had this capability.
Right. So this is a more... I mean, this is pandering to the consumer, not really to the professional with that sort of stuff. But there are also, because this is focused more on a consumer instead of on a professional, there's a lot of scene modes. So you can have a cine mode, which makes it look like a movie. You can have... There's a spotlight mode for when you're shooting... your kid at a reception or something. There's snow mode. So there's a lot of scene modes to go into that. So
snow mode is handy if you do skiing, and you'll often get very muddy lighting. So if it's sensitive to that, that's good. That's nice. That's a handy thing.
Right.
It is big.
Yep.
I guess that to pack all those features, and you got to make a big camera, and it's a little pricey given the cost of camcorders these days.
Right.
Why don't you give us the pros and cons?
Yeah, my pro would be that it has really good manual controls. It has really good image quality for the size and for the market that it's aiming for, and it has 32 gigabytes of internal storage.
Lots of storage.
Lots of storage. Right out of the boat. You don't have to buy any SD card at all.
Yeah.
My cons would be that the resistive touchscreen is pretty sluggish. It's not too easy to work with, and it's pricey, coming in at a street price of around $1,300.
So the question is, if I'm in the market for a camcorder, should I buy the Canon Vixia HF G10?
The question is yes. I would buy this. It would feel really silly of us to say no, don't buy.
We bought
when we bought
30 of them. We spent well over $50,000 on cameras like this.
Right.
So, but we're doing something a little special.
Right. And so this is for the high end. If you need a high end camera that isn't going to break the bank and that has some features that we really enjoyed, like HDMI out. And
a lot of people don't buy camcorders anymore. You know, they use their phones or their still camera. A lot of still cameras, excuse me, a very good video. All right. Thank you, Chad Johnson.
Of course. Thanks.
Chad is our newest producer. We stole him from Brian Brushwood, and now he produces This Week in Google, This Week in Tech, and Mac Break Weekly for us on the Twit network. All right, let's move along, and we're going to take a look now at a laptop. I had this on Regis and Live with Kelly in January, I think it was. We had seen this at the Consumer Electronics Show. It's not exactly an Ultrabook. Well, I'll tell you what. We gave it to Ayaz Akhtar, and he gave it his big test. Ayaz, what do you think of the HP Envy Spectre 14?
Hey, I'm Ayaz Akhtar with Twit, and we're going to review not this TV, but this HP Envy Spectre. Now, it's an Ultrabook from HP, and let's take a look at the design right off the bat. You can see probably yourself because this is one giant sheet of Gorilla Glass. If we try to open this up, there's also the glass continued in the palm rest. It's kind of neat. That's their gimmick here. Also, the front here is covered in glass as well, so there's one continuous piece over there. Let's go around for the ports. We have a mini display port, HDMI, Gigabit Ethernet. Now, one of the curiosities here is because it's so thin, there's a little jaw here. So a little flimsy, but it's there. USB 3.0, USB 2.0, a combination headphone and microphone jack, a full SD card slot. Your SD card will not stick out of this. It'll go right in. Around, let's see, look, no optical drive. It's an Ultrabook. Of course you knew that. But on this side, we have some dedicated things. That's right, that's the Beats logo because this HP comes with Beats. There's a volume dial, there's a mute button, and this Beats button over here actually brings up a piece of software, which is pretty much a mixer. Let's open this up, which is actually, that was much easier than normal. If you take a look at how small this lip is, you make sure you have some fingernails and they're strong, because to open it up, it's a little bit of a challenge. Now, this thing is on. We have a 14-inch display. It's a 1600 by 900 display. It can get pretty bright. I'm going to turn it up to full brightness. And let's talk about the keyboard. The keyboard is backlit. You'll see, again, no dedicated volume controls because there's this dial. And you can see on screen, there's a Beats logo as it spins. And sometimes that doesn't work, as I found out during my tests. I'm going to close off this application. And so what do we have? We have a backlit keyboard. We have good travel on the keys. It's actually, I think the travel is a little bit better than some of the other Ultrabooks I've actually used, but it's not very mushy. It's a very good keyboard. Trackpad, very good. Now, I was concerned because it's at the same surface, same area as the palm rest. No accidental inputs. HP did a really good job with this trackpad. Multi-touch worked very well. For specs, this is an Ultrabook, so you know what to expect. 128 gigabyte SSD, 4 gigabytes of RAM, Intel Core i5, pretty much standard stuff on every Ultrabook out there. What HP did to make this thing different is the design. Again, it's hard to ignore the design. Lots of glass. The glass picks up fingerprints, if you like that. I don't know why you touch the back of it like this, but it does pick up fingerprints. So have a cloth handy for that. It's thin, it's light. It doesn't look like a lot of other Ultrabooks. I'm sure people will compare it to the MacBook, but they didn't invent the chiclet keyboard by any means. For performance, it was pretty good. You know, it did everything every Ultrabook can do. Run 1080p videos just fine. Audio was fine. Things are okay. Oh, by the way, this has Beats audio. This is one of the selling points to this HP Spectre. And what I've noticed is at full volume, there was some buzzing to the casing, which is a little bit disconcerting because if you're going to have your glowing red B, that's always there, by the way, you might want to hope that this thing has really good audio quality. The bass isn't that great on the inbuilt speakers, but what do you expect? It's a laptop. Pros and cons on this thing. Okay, pros for this. This HP Spectre is quite stylish. Let's face it, it's really flashy, very pretty. The trackpad is very good and responsive, big fan of that. And it's thin and light, like lots of Ultrabooks. For cons, well, it's kind of unremarkable. The specs aren't really that interesting because every Ultrabook does this already. And because of that, I'm calling this thing pricey. It's around $1,200 on Amazon. I think HP prices at $1,300. That's pretty pricey for what you're getting here. At this price point for the HP Envy Spectre, I can't say to buy this. Unless you love flash and glass, this is a don't buy. I'm Ayaz Akhtar, and this is the HP Envy Spectre.
He's right. I can't open it. Is that a hinge? Is that a latch? I don't know. This is crazy. Also, glass, good idea until you actually use it. So I'm going to have to agree with Ayaz on that one. All right, next we're going to review a phone. And for that, we're going to, okay, you ready for the big switch? I don't know how well this is going to work. Brian Burnett is what we call our technical director. He runs the operation here when we're doing Before You Buy. He's going to swap with our producer, Nicole Lee, so he can come over here and review Samsung's Focus 2. It's the latest Windows phone, running Windows Phone 7.5, available on AT&T. Hi, Brian.
Hey, Leo.
Had you ever used Windows Phone before?
Yeah, part of the reason Nicole had me do this phone is because I did the Samsung Focus S.
Yes,
yeah. Which is a little bit different than from this phone.
I have to say, I like that it's a white one. I think more and more we're seeing different colors. They're not all just black phones. And this is kind of a good-looking phone. Tell me about the Samsung Focus 2.
Well, it only comes in that color.
It's only in white.
And it's that glossy kind of feeling, too. So, unlike the Samsung Focus S, which had kind of like a texture to the back of it.
Right.
That one, not so much.
Nice looking screen, though. I have to say, that's a pretty screen.
Yeah, it's a 4-inch Super AMOLED, just like on the other one.
Right.
And
pretty snappy. All the Windows phones are a single core processor.
Single core, and it's just the OS is designed to work that way.
And I find that actually, because the OS expects no more, it always is very snappy. They really do a nice job.
Yeah.
So how did it work as a phone? You were using it on the AT&T network?
I was, and that's part of the appeal of this phone is that it's 4G LTE.
Ah, so you get the high speed.
Right.
Now, we don't have that here in Petaluma. We're getting it soon.
Getting it soon.
But many areas, I think it's 45 plus, maybe more now, cities in the U.S. have LTE.
And I did go
Did you take it to San Francisco?
I took it to the city and tested it out, and it wasn't stellar. It was about 5 megabytes down, 1 up. So it was good, but the problem with using 4G with that phone's battery, which is only 1750 milliamps, is that it drains the battery pretty quick.
I bet it does.
And I only got about half a day out of it without charging.
That's a real drag.
Yeah. What else can I say? Oh, and another con for that phone is that it only has 8 gigabytes of storage, and there's no SD card expansion slot. That's me. I do like that a lot about Windows phones.
I think it's the best reason to get a Windows phone is the Xbox Live integration. It's fantastic. Your game points can go from the phone to your Xbox Live, and it does have your little what does Microsoft call it? Not the,
achievements.
No, the little guy.
My avatar.
The Weeble. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Is that because you play? Did you buy that?
That's because I played Halo. Yeah,
it's a Halo outfit. You look like Master Chief, the Junior.
It looks like me underneath the helmet.
Yeah, well, that's the good thing about that.
One thing also with that phone is if you're a new user, then you get 7 gigabytes of cloud storage via SkyDrive.
Yeah.
So,
and like all Windows phones, it has a dedicated camera button. And one of the things that Windows Phone does very well is jump to the camera. You don't even have to unlock it. You can just go right to the camera directly.
Right.
All the phones are doing that now, though, I have to say.
And the half button push for the focus is really nice.
Is the camera really? It's like a real camera. Let me take a picture of Brian here. Is it a decent camera? Do you think?
It's a decent camera. It's about average. When you take it outside to take pictures, it kind of gets blown out, and if you fiddle with the settings, it does decent.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh, hey there.
Yeah, hey there, Brian.
Yeah, it looks a little blown out.
8 megapixels, 5 megapixels?
It's a 5 megapixel back camera, and then on the front it has VGA.
Now that's good because some Windows phones, many of the early Windows phones, including I think the Samsung Focus S, did not have a front-facing camera. So now you can use Skype, even though they still haven't put Skype on the
right, which is nice.
Windows phone. Someday they will. So there it is. That's the Samsung Focus 2.
Mm-hmm.
Pros?
4G.
Yeah.
Where it's available, and it's only $50 with a 2-year contract, so it's kind of like an entry-level smartphone. Also, the screen is really nice.
I think it's a beautiful screen.
Yeah.
Samsung does great screens. Yeah.
But for the cons, the camera is it's good. It'll get by, but the battery life suffers because of the 4G LTE, and then the no expandable memory is kind of a knock on it.
Yeah, and only 8 gigs.
Only 8 gigs.
Gosh, that's not much. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Let me ask you: would you now don't include whether it's Windows Phone or not? Assuming you wanted a Windows Phone, would you buy this?
After playing around with the Lumia 900, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I think the Lumia 900 is the one to get. I agree with you.
But it's nice.
How much is this with the contract on AT&T? Is it $200?
It's 50 for 2 years.
That's the difference, because the Lumia is $300.
Right.
So
That's the difference.
$50. Although I always wonder why people are so anxious to save $150 when you're going to spend that much, every couple of months on your data.
Right. I think Samsung came out with this for AT&T to kind of compete with the T-Mobile's Lumia 710.
Got it. It is. It's in that market.
Right.
Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Thanks
Brian
for having me on the show.
He's the guy who pushes all the buttons behind the scenes on the show. I'm going to let you go back to do that, Nicole Lee. You did a great job, Nicole. Had you ever done that before? Oh, you have. Oh, I was about to pat you on the head. Nice job, Nicole. One last review on Before You Buy this week, and it's from me. And I've had this for a while, and I've really kind of gone back and forth on it. This is the Micro Cone from Dev Audio. Were you ever able to get my screen up? Because you really got to see my screen if you want to understand what the Micro Cone is all about. There you go. I've been recording everything we've done over the last few minutes using this software. Now, let me tell you, this Micro Cone is kind of an unusual kind of microphone. You see this? We've got 6 different speakers here. Let me open our staff meeting, which I recorded earlier today. That might be a better example. I'll stop the current recording and show you what the staff meeting looks like. On the staff meeting, we had, I think we had 15 people in there. And that's one little issue, is that as the staff meeting goes, different people are speaking. And since there's only really 6 different areas, you'll have to choose from attendees as they speak. In fact, you spend a lot of time fiddling around with this thing as you're attending the meeting. But there's some nice features. It shows how long the meeting went, in this case 48 minutes, who was there, who spoke, and when. I can, change names if I want to. This is all the different amounts, people on the table. And see, the size of the dot relates to how many people spoke. And look at this keyword summary. This is kind of interesting. I'll explain a little bit of what's going on. As the meeting's going on, you have these buttons that you can click. In fact, there's also an iPhone app that will tie into it. I'll show you right here. So if you want to sit back from your computer and just use the iPhone app, you can also just tie the iPhone in. Whoops, let me open it up again. Tie the iPhone in and then click the buttons as you go. You see there's 4 buttons. The exclamation mark is for an important item. So you're saying something important happened in the meeting, you tap that button as you speak. The blue checkbox is for an action item. The green decision diamond is if you've made a decision. And the question mark is if there's a question to be answered. Now, come back here and look what happens on my desktop. As I use those buttons, you'll see there's highlights down here of different things that happened. And we had various action items. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. That got a little peanut in my throat. Should never, just a little tip, never eat nuts before you do a television program. I mean, just something in case that ever happens to you, Brian. And you got to do a TV show. Don't eat nuts. I blame Patrick Norton, who made me do that. So you see, I have highlighted. In fact, I can go to the highlighted section and play it back.
What are you doing? Who's writing him on what we need? Who has been the point person with the agenda?
Now listen to the audio.
Tony, has it been you?
I was until Colin took over.
So this was a fairly big meeting with about 10 people in here all over the room. Tony's way at the end of the table. Lisa's pretty close to the microphone.
Since you were doing the website.
And you can hear what they're saying. So I have a pretty decent recording
I've worked with him in the past.
of who's talking and when. That's Liz.
He's great. Everyone has seen his work. It's amazing.
And then that's Sarah. And then I can go to another action item. So that's that's pretty cool, right?
And Angus a note, copy Colin, myself, and Leo on it.
So they also have an interesting transcription feature. Now this uses Nuance voice transcription. And if you've ever used that on your iPad or your iPhone, it's the same kind of, I think it's the same engine as Dragon Naturally Speaking. They own a Nuance as well. you know that the better the quality of the recording on the microphone, the better the transcriptions. And as you can see here, the transcriptions aren't great. They're not going to take the place of a human transcription. But by using these transcriptions, and most of the words are in there sort of okay, you get this interesting tag cloud in the overview. So you can kind of see what things people were talking